press hard and we get through the fire. Got the edge and we're taking it higher. Yes, reaching for the ages, and we got it all. We have power.
Welcome back to Made for More. I am your host, Holly J. Moore. I'm a certified family law specialist in California, and today let's talk about something that is right around the corner, back to school. Now, back to school is full of new things, new backpacks, new teachers, maybe some of those first day jitters. But if you have recently gone through a divorce or even a separation, we need to talk about the new landscape of your kids starting school in a new school year and some of the dynamics that may be going on right now. So, I want to talk to you guys about how to navigate this in a way where this is a really positive experience for your kids. The first thing that you absolutely need to do is get ahead of the logistics. The worst thing you can do is leave this whole situation to chance and just sort of have casual conversations with your co-parent about who's going to be doing the drop-offs and pickups and whatever else is going on. Nail down the logistics. Now, I know what you're thinking, like, I don't even want to sit in a room with this person. I can't get on the phone with them. That's fine. Maybe do it separately. But whatever you do, take the time to really work the practical aspects of this out. Now, you might already have a court order. And if you do, I would encourage you now. Don't wait until school's already in session. Do it now when you still have a couple weeks, a month to go, depending on where you are, to sit down and look at that court order, because as lawyers, we try to plan for everything, but it's almost impossible. There's always some little nuance or ambiguity that leaves things to chance. And so look at your court order to make sure that if you do in fact have a court order, it is addressing everything it needs to address. The reason why I'm telling you to do that now is because if it's not all there, if you don't have all the logistics spelled out in that court order, you still have enough time to call up your lawyer and hopefully get it worked out before the first day of school. Okay, so school means a lot of touch points. There's drop-offs, there's pickups, there's parent-teacher conferences, there's the costumes for Spirit Week that you find out about at the last minute. There's lunches, there's calling, your kid becoming sick at school and who are they going to call? There's lots of different touch points. And when you're in a co-parenting situation, sometimes the more touch points there are, the more opportunities for conflict. So that's why we want to have all these touch points sort of ironed out ahead of time. Clarity reduces conflict. Sit down now, map it all out. Look at your court order, see what's there, see what gaps need to be filled in. Be specific and get it in writing. Whether you have a court order or you don't, if there are certain areas that need to be addressed, address them specifically, dates, times, starting time, ending time, exchange locations. The more specifics you have in there, the better, because again, clarity reduces conflict. And if you do currently use an app, a co-parenting app like Talking Parents or Our Family Wizard, make sure all this communication is on and through one of those apps. If you don't use one of those apps, even if you're not under a court order to do that, I highly recommend communicating through one of the various apps that are specifically made for a co-parenting situation where it's hard to just sort of talk to the other parent in a peaceful way. Okay, so now that you have everything mapped out, you've got your logistics dialed in, the next thing that we need to make sure that is happening is that both parents are in the communication loop. So make sure both parents are listed on the documentation with the school. This includes emergency contacts, pickup authorizations, as well as notifications, like the notification that you get from the teachers saying, I just assigned this essay, please make sure your kid is doing it. All three aspects of that communication, you need to be on it. Now, what I say is it's your responsibility to make sure you are on the school's documentation as a parent to be notified. Don't rely on the other parent to do that for you. A lot of conflicts have erupted because one parent is not on those things, whether it's an emergency contact or, just a simple notification for homework or something like that. If you are a parent who intentionally left the other parent off, don't do that. That could be evidence used against you. I've actually gotten a client custody over that very thing, where basically one parent intentionally left, in this particular situation, it was the father, off of all that kind of stuff. That was viewed as parental alienation, and he actually was awarded custody because of that act of parental alienation. So don't intentionally leave the other parent off. However, I will tell you, it's your responsibility to make sure you yourself are on those school records so that the school is communicating with you and you are in the loop with regard to events, notifications, emergency contacts, all of those things. Okay, so let's talk about the first day. My best suggestion to you as parents is put your own thoughts, feelings, issues, conflicts aside and focus on your child. Years ago, I watched the Garth Brooks documentary, and in that, and I still remember it years later because it was so impactful for me. They talked about how Garth Brooks and his ex-wife took their girls to school together every day. And there was conflicts, and the kids, they would be like mad at this parent or that parent or whatever, and they both had new significant others, and there was all the things going on in a divorce situation as you might be experiencing. But what I thought was so incredible was Garth Brooks and his wife, I think her name was Sandy, put all that aside and united together for the good of their children. And I just thought that's actually a better model than like trying to stay together for the kids or anything like that, is to really show your children that you can put your differences aside with someone else. You can put your own issues and thoughts and feelings aside for their best interest and show up as a united front for your kids. How incredible is that? What an amazing lesson and what an amazing model that those parents gave to those children about doing hard things, doing things where you feel uncomfortable, doing things that you probably really don't want to do. That is such a gift that you can give to your kids. So I would encourage you on the first day this year, take a page out of Garth Brooks's book and put everything aside, show up for your kids, put the focus on them, and for a moment, put everything else aside. Next, let's talk about talking to the kids about this. So if you've recently separated, lots of change is happening. Maybe there was a move for one of the parents. Clearly, the parents are no longer living together. The kids are splitting their time between two different households. Maybe there are new significant others in the picture. There's all that aside, they're starting a new school year with new teachers and new kids in their class, like maybe at a new school. There's a lot of change happening in your kids' lives. And change is hard for all of us. And change can feel a little bit uncertain and sometimes unstable. So your kids may be experiencing anxiety. They may have some nerves related to all sorts of different things. So my best suggestion here is to talk to them, ask them how they're feeling, and listen to them and really hear them. Sometimes we listen to respond and we don't listen to actually hear what people are saying, whether it's kids, adults, or anyone that we're communicating with. So take the time to really hold that space for them. You don't have to jump in right away and fix it. You don't have to offer a solution. You don't have to dismiss it away. You just hold that space for them and hear them and hear their feelings and hear about what they're scared of, what they're nervous about, what they're concerned about, and just always remind them, and this really goes across the board for whatever they're feeling fearful of or uncertain about. You remind them that both parents love them and both parents are there for them and that it's going to be okay. Back to school is really an opportunity to do something truly wonderful for your kids, particularly if this is the first year where they're starting school under new dynamics of a two-household co-parenting situation. You can really give them the gift of showing them, not telling. We can all tell people things and we can all give lip service to things, but this is your opportunity to really show your kids, doesn't matter what's going on with mom and dad, doesn't matter what's going on between us. We have our issues. Maybe there's conflict. Maybe there's this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter. Today, we're showing up for you. The focus is on you. We can put our differences aside and we can be here for you as a united front and model what it is like to be graceful, grace under fire, really, and to be there for your kids, regardless of what's going on. So I encourage you to take back to school seriously in terms of figuring out the logistics, talking to your kids, making sure things are in writing. That will save you so much conflict and so much angst in the future. So make sure you've crossed all your T's and you've dotted all of your I's, and give your kids the gift of a really positive core memory. It can go either way. It could be a core memory that's negative. I would encourage you to give your kids the gift of a really positive core memory on the first year that they went back to school after their parents separated and their parents handled it beautifully. And I know you can do it because you are made for more. A prenuptial agreement, or sometimes called a premarital agreement, is an agreement that two parties enter into before they get married that basically chooses to deviate from state law. It assigns rights and responsibilities regarding assets and debts that are acquired during the marriage. Some common misconceptions about prenups are, one, that they basically doom the marriage to failure, or that it's really planning to divorce, and neither of those things are true. But the real value of a prenup is talking about and creating rules around how the things that you acquire during the marriage are going to be characterized. A prenup can protect things like art collections, real estate portfolios, businesses, all those types of assets. The ideal timeline to get a prenup is not 2 weeks before the wedding. The final version of a prenup has to be presented to the parties 7 days before they actually sign it. So there's like a 7-day waiting period. As soon as you get engaged, you should seek a lawyer's advice and counsel on a prenup and start the process then, because the closer the prenup is signed to the wedding, the more likely that the court is going to think there was some sort of duress involved in that person signing it, and they have to prove that the prenup was signed voluntarily in order for them to be enforced. At More Family Law Group, we represent a lot of high-profile people, celebrities, professional athletes, business tycoons. If you already have a lot of assets, or you think you're going to be acquiring a lot of assets during your marriage, we are the best ones to protect that for you and help you make your marriage stronger. Call More Family Law Group today.